Today we're taking a look at SUI, and SUI has been absolutely exploding recently. It's up nearly 400% in the last 3 months, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down at all. But in today's video we're going to cover some key news that we have for SUI and obviously all of the technical analysis. So if we jump in here, we can see that SUI is actually approaching its previous all-time high and resistance level at $2.18. And previously when it reached this all-time high was in March, and then it proceeded to fall to around 50 cents, which is a huge fall. However, since it's made practically a V-shaped reversal and just fully come back to that all-time high like it never left. Now obviously this is a huge resistance zone, and just judging by how SUI has reacted to all its previous resistance levels, the only one it really tried to reject was this 0.382 level on the Fibonacci right here. And you can see we rejected it once, twice, 3 times, nearly 4 times, and then the 5th time it rejected, but it did end up breaking out. And since then it really has not stood a test to any other resistance level until now. So on Friday the 7th of October, so roughly 5 days ago, it rejected this level right here. But since it came down to the 0.786 area where it found some accumulation and has then continued to explode, and is looking like it now might look to break out of that all-time high. Now if we go onto a higher time frame, obviously SUI, the price action isn't brilliant to analyze because it's super choppy. However, we can still see how it's either speeding up or slowing down with the accumulations and distributions. So overall, huge market buys are obviously in place. You can see just how big the buying candles are compared to the selling candles. Even some selling candles are obviously quite large. However, the control is in the buyer's hands. Now, if we go back to the daily, if we are able to break through this all-time high, a healthy move would look something like this, where we come back down and retest the all-time high as a new support area. However, I think, as I'm going to cover some news in just a second, I think we should see some sort of reversal back down to the 0.786 area, where we see some sort of accumulation before we look to retest that all-time high and to actually break out something like this. Now, the news I want to share is the open interest for SUI. So, since around the 12th of September, the open interest absolutely exploded, and obviously so did the SUI price. But recently, since around the 9th of October, when the open interest peaked, it has now started to see a huge slowdown. It fell from an all-time high of $560 million to $450 million, which is roughly 10%, and that was all in 24 hours. Now, what the open interest shows us is how many traders are essentially, holding positions on SUI. If it's an incline, then it means there's an increase in positions. If it's a decline, then it means it's a decrease in positions. Now, obviously, with the open interest dropping, it shows us that a lot of traders are starting to take profits as the excitement declines, thus helping the price sell off slightly. Now, overall, that doesn't affect the long term too much, because this is a short-term analysis. However, we are looking at the short term, so that sort of sides with the thesis that we should see some sort of decline here on SUI. Now, if we look at the entire market, obviously the entire market is very green. However, nothing compares to the growth that SUI has seen of 400% in 3 months, which is absolutely absurd. FET has seen some good growth, but only around less than 100% in the same time span. Another key thing we need to look at for the longevity of SUI is the Bitcoin dominance compared to Bitcoin. So obviously when Bitcoin dominance is falling drastically, that results in altcoins seeing quite a large increase, and vice versa with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin is rising and Bitcoin dominance is falling, obviously the increase, but if Bitcoin is falling and Bitcoin dominance is rising, then we will see a decrease. Now, as I mentioned in the other videos, Bitcoin dominance does look like it's starting to slow down, and if it is able to break these lows and actually go into a downtrend, Bitcoin does look quite bullish. It looks like it can start to head into another uptrend leg, so that will result in altcoins being very bullish, and obviously SUI being one of those altcoins. Now, the one fear I have for the longevity of SUI is the fact that we saw such a huge pump. Now when all the other altcoins come to pump, SUI might see some sort of decline, simply because people are going to be taking their profits out of SUI and investing those profits into the other altcoins that are now pumping. This is a very common theme that occurs. We saw it quite heavily with the metaverse hype back in around 21, 22, where one day we'd see Bitcoin pump, the next day Bitcoin dumps, but a lot of metaverse projects are pumping. It's just the distribution of people's profits. So to summarize, we are essentially looking, if SUI is able to break out, we need a retest here for a continuation. However, what we expect is SUI to see some sort of slowdown and to come down to this support area right here, where we can start to look for some sort of buying areas. If SUI does slow down drastically, and even if it falls down to this area right here, then we can actually look for rather large buy positions. Now, if you did enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe. Check out the Discord down below because we're sending out trades every single day there. If you need a place to buy, sell, or trade SUI, then check out all the exchanges we have down below as well. Thank you all for watching, like and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Goodbye.